Gundam.tk presents Serpent Custom. Hey again everybody, it's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs from GundamReviews.net, and today I'm taking a look at the high-grade 1/100th Serpent Custom from Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. This kit came out in 1998 and sells for 2,000 Japanese yen. This being the mid to late 1990s, that meant high grade at the time meant 1/100th scale kits, which were still very high quality at the time. This follows up after the anime kits from Gundam Wing with the OVA releases, and this is the 7th and final one released. Flipping through the Gunpla Bible for 2010, which shows every model kit ever made, after you've got the regular Gundam Wing kits from the anime, the Endless Waltz kit started coming out, and it looks like the Ultron was the first to come out in February of 97. Wing Zero or Wing Zero Custom came out in April of 97. Then Death Scythe came out in 98, and the Serpent Custom was the last to come out in summer, July specifically, 1998. And in case you want to buy more, you can get a 1/144th scale kit for 840 yen, and you can get a clear version as well for 1260. So after the very successful Gundam Wing anime was airing, Bandai and Sunrise decided to do a little bit more in the form of 3 OVA episodes that later got a compilation movie, and that is Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. This is just one of the mangas here that takes place between the anime and the actual OVA. Now in terms for me, I was looking to buy some bad guys for the 1/100th size, and with the hero's biggest enemy in this series being a door basically, I guess the 1/100th Serpent Custom is going to have to do in terms of arch nemesis. Also worth noting is that the box is going to have in big blazing English there, Serpent Custom, and it's going to be there in Japanese as well. All of the OVA kits from Endless Waltz were basically labeled as custom, although lately they've been this has been falling out of favor and just going along with OVA version in terms of how they would name Wing Zero, etc. In terms of those big weapons, it's going to have the beam cannon, and it looks like it can hold it in 2 hands there. And down below we're going to have a massive bazooka that's going to sit over the shoulders, and the shoulder missiles can open up, which is pretty cool. I hope that works out well in model form. Speaking of models, you're going to be getting 2 human figures to go along with these, as was the style at the time. You're going to get Relina Dorian, not Peacecraft here, and I guess you can paint her up, and you're also going to be getting the big bad guy from the OVA until her turn at the end, Marimea Crushanada. I never knew how to say that guy's name. And then they're going to go on about how the 1/100th the Serpent has been brought to life in 3D with all of its assorted weapons and accessories. To the other side, where fans who have built a lot of Gundam Wing kits, and there was probably a lot back in the 90s, probably know that the camera eye, this is called a jewel seal here, and basically that means it's 3D, it's raised up, and it's going to look very good in terms of his ever so evil mono eye there. They're also going to have the shoulder arm. They're talking about the slide gimmick there, which means it's going to open up, and it has the double Gatling gun, so even though it's only shown with 1 on the other side, here you've got the 2, which is going to look very impressive and familiar for heavy arms fans. Here it's going to talk about the OVA series, Endless Waltz, and as it goes on, there was manga of course, as well as is the want in Japan to pretty much have everything in every form of media. Here it is, they're going to show off the last 2 in the series. You've got the Death Scythe Hell Custom and the Gundam Sandrock Custom as well. To crack open the box, you're going to be getting the manual on the top here, and then an A plate with some seals and 2 figures of people there. Some light purple, some gray, some more purple, some black parts there, a single sticker with a little green shiny part there. You've got a polycap and a big plate of gray limbs. And at the beginning I almost had to make sure that I had the right plates here for this Gundam, because on the inside when you open it up and you take a look at these colors, it is so completely different from the way it's portrayed both in the drawn art and in the painted one by a pro on the side of the box that you'd swear it was a different kit. The A plate is only somewhat disappointing though. First of all, it's worth pointing out that this is custom for the Serpent Custom. Yes, some of these plates are not, as you'll see coming up. 4 colors here, the red is going to stand out. That's for the vents which go on the front and back of the shoulders, and then you're going to have the main color for the limbs and the main color for the chest and the head. The head is going to look pretty good here, and you're actually going to have 3 fingers and a finger split there. The thumb is going to be permanently molded into place though. What's the big disappointment for me though is that you actually have this different color gray, which isn't going to match anything you get on any other plates, and you're only going to have 2 tiny little handles there, which are probably not going to stand out at all. It would have been nice if there was a whole nother plate of gray, which would just help get rid of some of the color monotony you're about to see in the other plates. The B is also just for the Serpent. You're going to be getting the shoulder parts, and this color is going to match what you saw on the left side of the A plate. Massive parts down here for the legs, which is sort of suiting for an old 1/100th, even though it is graded. And you're going to be getting some other colors. Again, this color is going to be matching what you saw in the main part of the A plate. The D plate is not unique. If you can make it out here that it's going to say up Gundam Heavy Arms Custom and the Serpent Custom down there. And that's because this is going to be the main weapon, although the Serpent Custom is usually only depicted as having one of these on his arms. He can have two, as you can see inside the manual, just like the Heavy Arms having two weapons wailing away. You're going to have these parts down here. This is in a sort of gray-purple kind of thing, and all of the things are in one color, which is disappointing because when you take a look at the box, it actually seems to have quite a bit of color differentiation between this and the actual Gatling parts, and it would have been nice if they had used that gray that we already saw on the A plate. If they had even just taken the time to make these into gray instead of this purple, I think this whole kit would look a lot better with very minimal effort. I'd probably call this gray taking it out of the box, but it's actually a tone of green, a very military green here. You're going to be having parts for the feet and other little parts that are going to go all around, including the all-important missile pods there, and they've got some nice raised textures. So if you wanted to go ahead and paint those, I'm sure you could, and these thruster-looking things on the back. So the green, if you're familiar with the F90 and things like that, very familiar, and if not, you can really make this guy look very militaristic, thanks to this color being included instead of black. Here's the F1 and F2 plates, which is just cut in half before you get it out of the box, and you're going to have all the parts that you need for the bazooka, which is looking pretty massive, except for the fact that it's just two pieces, and these are big pieces too. Anyway, you're going to have the trigger actually attached onto the one permanently, and for the beam cannon over here, you're going to have some nice opportunities for lining on both of them, really. This one, it looks like you do have a few extra parts, but I can only go back and lament that on the D plate, you're going to be having that same color for the weapons that go on the forearms as you do for these ones. Just a little bit of gray to break up the monotony, especially when you've got pieces as large as this, would have made life a lot easier. If you like painting figures, the mid-90s, and I guess leading into Seed with the 1/100th non-grades must have been great. You've got a fair bit of detail on here, so if you wanted to take the time to paint it, there's tons of differentiation and raised textures that you can do it. Two figures included in this one. I guess that's because one is only half the size. You've got Relina Dorian, and you're going to have Marimeya Krishnanada. I can't pronounce that guy's name to save my life. And she even has a feather in her cap. And you're actually going to get a third piece here if you want to put on her hair. So pretty cool figures, and something that if you added them beside the Gundam all painted, would certainly add to anybody's display. And for no reason at all, here it is for a size comparison, the massive bazooka next to the two figures. 4 big seals there and 2 small ones. These are going to go on the side of the head beside the mono eye, and it's disappointing that there are a lot of parts that, well, not a lot of parts, but a few anyway, that you're not going to be able to do with just the plastic. You actually have a big molded forearm in one color, and you're going to break up that by putting in this off-colored piece in the middle, which is going to match the other color, and this part is going to go on the legs from the back. So hopefully it's not going to stand out or roll off, especially when it's wrapped around a forearm. But on the plus side, the mono eye, which hopefully should be displayed the way you put the head together, you are going to have some color differentiation in there, is going to have this clear green raised portion, which is actually, you can see it rounded there. It's just got a little seal here for the 1/100th Serpent. It's looking good. Hopefully it's going to shine when it's actually put onto the MS. So though I am a little bit disappointed that the colors here aren't going to be matching what you see all around the packaging, just a quick photo of the Gundam completely unpainted, so that people know what they're going to get rid of the box would have solved all that, and they've done a pretty good job of that lately. But as I compare the colors here on the color guide for the paints compared to what you're actually seeing here, it is fairly different. You're supposed to have Warship gray there, it looks like, or just Warship color, I suppose. Olive drab 90%, white 80%, medium blue 70%, neutral gray 100% here, and Daytona green 40%, with cobalt blue 40% and navy blue 20%. That's going to make up the middle parts in the Gatling gun. So nowhere on here does it really look purple, which this really comes across as being. And you can see that there are color differentiation here in the guide that's just not done with the plastics right out of the box. Solid looking manual with that logo up there for Endless Waltz. Endless Waltz being written in English. The head height here is listed as 16.6 meters, which is sort of interesting, as in the 90s most kits were pretty small, about that size, so it should fit right well into your lineup. When you open it up, it's book style, and you're going to have some nice line art there, including the weapons and the specs. It's also going to show off the two female characters that you're going to be getting and that you saw in plastic form. Here's the A, B, C, D, E, F, F1 and F2, and the G plates. Remember that the F1 and F2 are just split apart and in purple. And once you go inside, yes, in the 90s, manuals were very, very simple. You can see that the legs are just going to be one, the arms are just going to be one, a whole bunch of color splash cells from the anime, which are all looking pretty good. Some more talk about Endless Waltz. Ooh, Laserdisc on sale now. That's fantastic. Then you're going to have the double Gatling guns shown off with the missiles, bazookas, beam cannon, and how to paint up those figures if you're good at that kind of thing. As you move on, you can put the head and chest together, and then it's just the weapons, and they show you how to mount it. And if you're looking for the part or the paper to order missing parts, it's here in the back, and they don't give you a price breakdown. You'd have to go read through there, probably 40 a pop if you're missing things. And as mentioned, there's that color guide and a nice view of the back. However, the unboxing doesn't really matter. All that matters is how it's going to look when it's all put together. So stay tuned to see the parts, the mobile suit, and then the final verdict. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. That seems like something that Starscream would end up holding at some point.